Hello and welcome. Today we're going to learn about how to find equations based off of a graph and some points on a graph. First off, what kind of equations? Hopefully everybody knows that this is a linear equation. Now this kind of graph isn't really concave up or concave down because it's not curving. So this is neither. Now we want to use these points to find the equation of the graph. Well, our graph is y equals ax plus b. Now we want to find the slope a. Now there's a couple different ways we can do it. We could use our equation of x or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, where this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So 13 minus 25 over 8 minus 3. And this will get us 13 minus 25, which is negative 12 over 5, so negative 12 fifths. Now, going along with the theme that we did yesterday on tables, we could also just take it from a table. If I put the numbers 325 and 813 in a table, here I go up 5, here I go down 12, so 12 over 15, negative 12 over 5 will get you the same answer. Either way you look at it, their slope is negative 12 over 5. Now I want to find my value for b. What I would do is I'd plug in a value for x, plug in a value for y. So I'd have 25 is equal to negative 12 fifths times 3 plus b. This is negative 36 fifths is equal to 25. Negative 36 fifths is negative 7 and a fifth, or negative 7.2 is that? Now if I add that to both sides, this would be 32 and a fifth is equal to b. So our equation is y equals negative 12 fifths x plus 32 and a fifth. Now that is my linear equation. Hopefully everybody has seen that. Everybody knows how to do that. Now this gets a little bit more complicated. Hopefully everybody knows that this is a quadratic equation. And the graph itself is called a parabola. Is this concave up or concave down? Well, this is curving down, so we call this concave down. Now we want to use these points to find our equation. Well, our equation is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. The way that we would find this is plug in our x and y values, and we're going to make a matrix out of them. So if I plug in my x value, 3 squared is a times 9, so let's write 9a. B times x is b times 3, so 3b plus c is going to equal y, which is 26.6. We can make another equation with 8 and 38.6. My y, which is 38.6, is going to equal a times 8 squared, which is 64a, plus x times b, so 8b plus c. My last equation, my y value, 13.4, is going to be 14 squared, which is 196a, plus b times x, which would be 14b, plus c. Now this, we have three equations, three variables. We could solve this using substitution, which would be a fairly long process. So you could get your a, b, and c, and then plug your a, b, and c up here, and you have the equation. Another way is to use matrices. We can write this in matrix form by just taking the coefficients of each of these to this side, which is 9, 3, 1, 64, 8, 1, 196, 14, 1, and put that into a matrix. Now to make this matrix equal that equation, we have to multiply these numbers times A, B, and C. Now, if you remember your multiplication of matrices, what you do is you do the rows times the columns. So 9 times A plus 3 times B plus 1 times C, which is 9A plus 3B plus C. 64A plus 8B plus C, and 196A plus 14B plus C. Now what that equals is the right-hand side of 26.6. Oops, that's not a parenthesis. That's really not anything, really. Let's end that matrix. So now I have 38.6 and 13.4. So now we can solve this matrix and to find out our values of A, B, and C. The downside is we need to learn a little bit about matrix algebra. We don't have to learn a whole bunch, but just enough to do this problem. The matrix algebra works a little bit different than algebra of our normal algebra, or general algebra, because if I have B times X is equal to C, say, and if I want to find this variable X, I can't divide both sides by B. It doesn't make sense to us to divide by matrix. So what we do is we have inverses. So we can take B inverse of B, B inverse of C, and B inverse of B will cancel each other out because they undo each other. So we'd be left with X equals B inverse C. Now, you have to be careful because B inverse C and C B inverse is something different. In matrix algebra, AB is not equal to BA. So when we take our inverse, you have to be specific as whether you're taking the inverse on the left side or whether you're taking it on the right side. Here we had to take it out on the left side, so we have to take it on the left side on the right side of the equation. So hopefully that's enough matrix algebra. So if I have this as A times X is equal to B, I have to take A inverse on this side and A inverse on that side. So X would be A inverse B. Now, actually finding the inverse is a little complicated in a 3 by 3 matrix. It's less complicated in a 2 by 2 matrix, but 3 by 3, it's too much to go into right now. So what we'll do is we'll put this all into our calculator for matrix A, put this all into our calculator for matrix B, and then we'll type in matrix A inverse B. Now, try this and see if you can do it on your own. I did this on my calculator, and I got ABC is equal to negative 0.6, 9, and 5. Alright, so from there we can write our equation, because we found A, B, and C. So y is equal to negative 0.6 plus x squared plus 9x plus 5. That's our equation. Alright, let's try this one. So you try this one on your own and see what you come up with. Alright, hopefully you've gone through the entire problem. So that's our general equation. So I could write it out like this. And now to solve it, we have to do A inverse B. So we have y equals 1.2x squared minus 9.2x plus 23. Alright, now what type of equation is this? This is exponential. is this concave up or concave down? So this keeps on curving up, so this would be concave up. Now to do this, we'll have to first think about what an exponential equation looks like. That has an x in the exponent, so a times b to the x. So let's plug in our x's and y's and see what we come out with. So we can say 4 is equal to a times b to the third. 9 is equal to a times b to the eighth. Now here we have two variables and two equations, so we need to figure out how to get rid of one equation. So the best way we can do that is to divide. Also, an easier way to do it than what I'm currently having lined up is if the value with the highest exponent is in the numerator, is on the top. So I'm just going to rewrite this just so it's just a tiny bit easier. And now when I divide, I'll have 9/4 is equal to ab to the eighth over ab to the third, which goes to 9/4. A divided by a cancels out, and b to the eighth over b to the third is b to the fifth. So now to solve this, I have to take the fifth root of 9/4. So on my trusty calculator, I'll take the fifth root of 9/4. That's 1.176. So b is equal to 1.176. Now I'm going to plug that into the equation up here. So I'll have, you can use either equation. I'm going to use the top one. 4 is equal to a times 1.176 to the third power. Now if I take that answer to the third power, I get 1.627. And then 4 divided by that answer gets us to 2.5. So a is equal to 2.45. So now what I have to do is write this equation. Y is equal to, my a value is 2.45 times my b value, 1.176, to the x power. Alright, hopefully you got that. So I want to see if you guys can do this. Write the exponential function that contains these two points and find the equation. Alright, hopefully everybody has done this. Alright, here's the answer. Y equals ab to the x. I fill in my x and my y, my x and my y, and I like to write the exponent that's the largest on top. So when I divide, I don't get a negative exponent. It makes it a little bit easier. So b to the third equals 6/10. Take the third root of both sides to get 0.843. Plug that into either of the equations. I chose the top one. That number squared is 0.711. Divide that on both sides to find my a value. So now I substitute my a value and my b value into the general equation, and now I have my function. So now we have homework for tonight.